going to look at the Eco Lifestyle stream. So the stream is 2.5 hours long, and I know some people don't want to sit down and watch that all. They just want the details, the juicy bits. So what I'm going to do today is go through it and break it down for you and just show you all the most important parts that they talked about. First, we're going to read through the EA site a little bit, see what the main features are, and then we're going to jump into the live stream. All right, so let's just first go ahead and take a look at some of the key features that are on the EA website. So the first one is sustainable living. Reduce, reuse, and recycle. Produce your own electricity and water with solar panels, wind turbines, and dew collectors, or grow your own food in a new vertical garden to really control your impact in the world. All right, next is collaborative community. Engage with your neighborhood through the voting board to decide on different neighborhood action plans each week. Everyone has a voice. The next one is change the world. Every decision you make, what power sources you rely on, how you design your home, and which neighborhood action plans you vote for influences the state of the world, from smoggy skies to crystal clear water. All right, the last one is upcycled decor. Need to outfit a starter house on a budget? Do it basically for free by dumpster diving. Looks like you can take out pieces of furniture from the trash and fix them up. And then it says, even new furniture and clothes are sustainably made from recycled materials for a fabulous look. All right, so the new world is called Evergreen Harbor, and he starts off in this neighborhood called Port Promise. This is one of the 3 neighborhoods in the new world of Evergreen Harbor. And Port Promise starts off in an industrial state, so it's all smoggy. As you can see, there's garbage everywhere. He then hops into this new lot in Port Promise, and he shows off some of the really dirty new assets that they have for us to decorate with. And then down at the bottom, as you can see by the time, you can click there and it'll show your eco footprint. This is for all non-vacation worlds, and the way you build on your lot will affect the state of your eco footprint, so you can always check it there. So when the world you're living in is in an industrial state, your sim will actually cough a lot from the smog. Things like generators will negatively affect the environment, but you can also use generators to have a surplus in your power to sell back to the power company if you want, so you can make a profit on the bills, which I'll go into a little later on in the stream. So even though you can have a positive impact, what you do alone on your lot isn't usually enough to change the environment you're living in. So even though you can make these little changes to your plot of land, it won't actually have enough effect on the whole world to change the world's eco footprint. So you'll have to use what's called the neighborhood action plan, which we'll also get into later. But you can also cheat the way the world looks, so you don't always have to do it this way. If you want your world to be smoggy, or you want it to be completely environmentally friendly, then you can cheat that without having to do all the gameplay to get there. Next, they go through CAS, which I'm actually going to skip over. If you want to see in-depth CAS assets, go watch someone else's video. There's a lot of game changers out there who have CAS overviews. I'm not going to do that here. I will, however, go over the new traits with you. So the first one is the maker trait. These Sims become happy when making things. They become sad when it's been too long since completing a project on a fabricator, candle making station, juice fizzer, or working table. They do not receive negative effects from crafting or repair failure. The next one is green friend. These Sims are happiest when living on a green street and will continuously work towards making their environment more eco-friendly. The next one is the recycling disciple. And then lastly, we have the freegan. So these Sims reject consumerism and prefer to reduce wasteful spending by any means. They enjoy finding reused or thrown away goods and foods. In fact, they have the best luck at finding the highest quality treasures in dumpsters. They may become tense or uncomfortable if they spend too much time eating or spending Simlons. So that is a total of 4 new traits, which is pretty cool. So we're actually getting 2 new aspirations. One is in the creative category and one is in the nature category. The one in the nature category is Eco Inventor, and this sim wants to build a better, greener community. The next one is the Master Maker. So this sim wants to be an expert at fabrication. Okay, so here we have the new map for Evergreen Harbor. As you can see, Port Promise, the one we were first in, has like this smoggy overlay. The one up there is a neutral state. So that's what every world was currently in before this pack, what it will be in when we get this pack. That one up there is in the green eco footprint. So you can see like the little sparkles around it, and it'll be very colorful there. So this new world comes with 13 lots, 2 of which are actually apartments, which we'll get into later, but each of those apartments have 2 apartments in them, so that means it's kind of a total of 15 lots in this new world. And each community has their own community lot, which you can change if you want. If you click that little footprint up there, that's actually the eco footprint mode. So if you click it, it'll actually outline the neighborhoods for you to clearly show what state they're in if the overlays aren't clear enough for you. I don't know. So we then hop into what's called Conifer Station. SimGuru George states that this is kind of a 19th century industrial town. They had forestry and mining, and it was a port town, but industry has gone away and the town is trying to find itself again. And that's kind of the backstory for this neighborhood. So this is one of the new apartments, and the apartment actually changes with the neighborhood. So you'll see the outside side change from this kind of boring facade to a more eco-friendly facade. Now this part, if you've been on Twitter at all, you've probably seen this meme of this new NPC called Knox. He showed up naked, which was unplanned, but this is because of a new free love trait that your neighborhood can have if it's voted on in the neighborhood action plan board. So this neighborhood obviously voted for this trait, and free love, basically people have no jealousy and they tend to go streaking, which is what Knox here is doing. So Knox, usually coming over clothed, will ask you if you want to make a difference and make the neighborhood more green. He is not the next Vlad. He only does this when you first move in. He replaces the fruitcake welcome wagon, and he only will appear in Evergreen Harbor. He will not appear in your other worlds. So SimGuru George only stops on this for a brief second, so sorry about the big play button in the middle, but if I play it, it'll go away. So this is what pops up when you talk to Knox when he first comes over. So he says that people regard him as the eco master around these parts, and he kind of explains the neighborhood action plan board for you. And he tells you that you can vote on the board or through your own mailbox. And then he also tells you when voting ends. So it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on when you first start the game. So this is the neighborhood action plan board. When you vote, it takes what's called influence points. And there's a variety of ways to get these influence points. You can cheat them if you want by shift-clicking the board and adding influence points for yourself. But the way to actually get influence points is by socializing. You can get them by being social, raising your relationship with others, hosting events at your house, and being a civil designer. The new career actually helps you gain influence points as well. And there are also a lot of cross-pack tie-ins, so you can also get influence points by getting a degree, going to college, joining a university club, and getting famous. So this is what you see when you click the neighborhood action plan board. This is where you'll use your influence points to vote, and you can vote as much as you want. You just have to have enough points to vote, and it costs 10 influence points for one vote. You can also click that plus button down below to see more options for your neighborhood if the ones that are presented here aren't the ones you like. The ones in the plus are just not going to have any votes on them yet. And this is what it looks like when you click the plus button. Here are some of the things you can vote on. Now this board can be placed on any community lot in any world. The only thing you won't be able to do is use the ones that directly change Evergreen or the world themselves. So for example, this modern development in Conifer Station wouldn't be able to be used in Willow Creek, but everything else can be used. So here you can see he cheated to make the world green, and the apartments have changed to be more eco-friendly. There's less garbage on the ground, the paths are nicer, there's more landscaping. So this is the fabricator, and you can make furniture with it by using recycling that you have. The things that you can make with this fabricator are not in the build and buy mode unless you cheat for them. And to cheat for them, you'll have to do testing cheats true, and then the next cheat you'll have to put in is bb.ignore gameplay unlocks entitlement. Now this is the recycle machine. This is what you'll use to produce recycling to use in the fabricator. So you can basically put anything that's in your inventory in this recycling machine, and then you can use that recycling to make things. Now there will be an inventory update, which I'll go over in my base game update video that will come out next Monday. So I'm not going to go into too much detail right now on that, but this is kind of a sneak peek of what it'll look like. Now if you have this reduce reuse trait on your lot, The garbage man will only come once a week, and you'll actually have to sort through your trash. So this is the candle making machine. You'll be able to craft more candles depending on how high your skill level is. To craft candles, you'll need wax. So you can either buy wax from the candle making machine, or you can grow soybeans to collect wax from those soybeans. And if you have seasons, you can actually collect wax from bees. So here's some of the candles. There's 4 different types of candles, including dipped candles, molded candles, carved candles, and kids can actually do dipped candles. And you can actually infuse these candles with scents to encourage moods, which is just emotions. And the candles will get shorter as you burn them, but you can turn that off with a cheat. So if you want a candle to never burn out or the wax to go down, you can actually pause it at a certain state or set it at a certain state and make it so that it stops melting. And to do this, you just shift click on the candle. And candles will now kind of work the same way as lights, as you'll be able to turn on and off all candles at once if you would like, or per room. They're actually on a different system than the lights. So here's the new bill system. It is broken down into power, water, other taxes, lot taxes, and then there's some tax breaks and penalties. So you can produce a surplus of power and sell it back to the power company, so you can actually turn your bills into a money-making scheme if you want. They said that your bills should equal about the same as what they already are, and if I didn't mention this already, this is actually coming with a base game update, which I will also go over in the base game update video I'm going to do for next Monday. So here's one of the community spaces. These spaces can be placed in any world, like I said. You just have to go up here and then select community space from the lot type to create this space in other worlds. So with these community spaces, your Sims can actually vote here as well to change this community space into different things. As you can see, you can have it into community space, which is what it starts out as, community garden, a marketplace, or a makerspace. And these different venues will bring different Sims, different gameplay, and they can do different things on these lots. And you can actually customize each one of these separately. So if you don't like what's already preset, you can change them individually, which is great. Depending on which type is active, you will need to have certain objects to fulfill the requirements for that lot in order to make it functional. And these lots can change every week. It just depends on what your Sims vote for. So this is Grimm's query, and it is in the green eco footprint state. And they say that when your neighborhood is in this state, you'll grow better ingredients and things like your solar panels will work better. So this is the juice fizzing machine. It is basically a distiller to make kombucha, seltzer, and fizzy juice. Depending on what ingredients you put in will depend on what kind of drink is made. And they did say that there is some Easter egg drinks. They also said that every ingredient across all packs will work on this machine. Once you put in your ingredients, you can actually just walk away from the machine and wait for everything to be distilled. And the more ingredients you put in, the more drinks it will make. So these are the wall gardens. Basically, they're exactly what they sound like, and you can put them inside or outside. Now this next part is kind of strange, but you can have a meat wall on these wall gardens as well. So basically, it's synthetic meat, and you can name the meat. You can't name cow plants, but you can name your meat wall. So if you massage the meat, it will be better quality, and if you let it die and dry up, it'll turn into jerky. And if the meat catches on fire, it'll turn into a nice cube of steak. We all know this is what the Sims community has been asking for, a synthetic meat wall. These are the new bugs that come with the game. So with these bugs, you'll have to water and feed them like you would any normal pet, they said. And there are 4 new types of bugs, and you can change out these bugs from these little sheds at any time. They showed off the crickets. You can collect cricket flour, and you can collect biofuel from the crickets, which you can actually use to power your house. Now with these bugs comes new recipes you can cook with. You can actually eat bugs now. So this is the new dumpster interaction. Basically, you can collect furniture from these dumpsters. Sometimes it's burned, sometimes it's singed, and sometimes you can even get money out of these dumpsters. And you can also get food out of these dumpsters. So that freegan trait, this is what it goes with. And if you're the civil engineer or designer, whatever that new career is, you can actually use that smog machine and fix the things that you pull out of the trash with that. And the civil engineer actually can either work from home or go to work, like other careers we've experienced. And you can unlock new recipes for the fabricator, like the smog machine. So what's a new expansion pack without a new woohoo? Here we have our new woohoo, dumpster woohoo. But not only do we have a new woohoo, we have a new death. Here you have it, folks, death by flies. So I think that if you irritate flies too much, they will kill you. If you don't sort out your garbage, I think that that is when the flies will appear, or if it hasn't been taken out, etc., is when the flies will appear. And there he goes. What a horrible way to go. Now we're actually going to take a look at one of the new apartment complexes. So this one has no elevator. You just walk up the stairs. It is in the more green state, so it has a green roof and new siding. So these apartments are different than city living. They do not have any landlords, and there's nothing like noisy neighbors and things that we're used to in city living. So next they show off the ladders. So the ladders will be coming in a base game update, but if you have Eco Lifestyle, you'll also have another ladder along with the base game ladder. So these ladders can go inside or outside. If they're inside, they'll have that square looking thing just so that it can go through the floor, and when it's outside it'll just sit along the wall, so it won't have that square. Now you cannot carry pets or toddlers up and down these ladders, but they said that they will still route the nearest stairs. And you can also slide down the ladder, which is pretty cool and a lot faster than waiting for them to walk down the ladder. And next we have solar panels. So the cool thing about these solar panels is that they will actually map to the roof of your house. So if you don't want them just sitting out on the ground, it'll actually follow the diagonal of your roof. Now, if you change the shape of your roof, it won't always connect to the roof. So you might have to find that sweet spot where it'll connect. But if it's completely flat or diagonal, it should be able to find a spot. Now, there's also a new shingle, and it is the solar shingle. So it acts like a solar panel, which is really cool. If you don't want like an obnoxious solar panel just hanging out on your roof, you can always use shingles instead. It's also worth mentioning that you can turn off eco footprint. If you don't want to deal with that gameplay while you're trying to build or whatever, you can definitely turn that off. So next he shows off all the things that you can make using the fabrication machine. You can also dye these things, so this is all one color, but depending on what dyes you collect, you can change them into other colors as well. These are all the bikes that you can collect. I believe you get them from dumpster diving, and then this is some of the things that you can also get from the dumpsters. And next they kind of just go through some build buy stuff, and if you're interested in that, feel free to watch a video of someone's build buy overview where they take an in-depth look at all the items. But for now I'm actually just going to skip over this part. Lastly, they show off these dew collectors. So if you don't have seasons, you can actually still use this since it's collecting dew and not rainfall. This will actually help with your water bill. It'll bring your water bill down, and if you break the valves on this dew collector, it can water the plants around it, and they said if it's broken and spraying water long enough, it'll actually spawn plants. So I'm not sure what it'll spawn, but that'll be interesting to find out. Lastly, they end on a very nostalgic note. They start a fire in the house thanks to SimGuru Morgan, because it's always her fault when there's fires, and we get to see firefighters, which is coming in the new base game update for everybody. Stay tuned for that video. I'm going to break down everything that's part of that base game update, which will be coming out on June 2nd. Anyways, you guys, Eco Lifestyle will come out on June 5th, and I'll be definitely putting out more videos on that. But in the meantime, stay tuned for other videos, and thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to y'all soon. Bye!